Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. In this weekly morning live stream, I'll be covering a combination of both Virus made levels and some other levels I found online for the next 2 hours or so, and then afterwards, I'll be showcasing some art in the Discord server. On tonight's lineup, I'll also be streaming more Mega Man Maker. That time, Mega Man Frontier DX by Lunar Chris. Also, if you haven't voted on the Discord poll yet, please do, as what will win by 1 AM Sunday, very early morning, Western Standard Time, or Pacific Standard Time, that will determine what I'll be streaming this Sunday. At this rate, it's probably going to be a Hollow Knight, but we may have an upset. If anything, I'm more interested in what I'll be placing in second. So we're going to stream Jedok, J Butters, Raccoon, Sunflora, as well as Jaden and all the other watchers who I missed. Thank you for joining me again. Or if you're tuning in for the first time, thank you very much for checking out this channel. Due to the number of levels on the level queue, we may have a shorter stream, but we'll see. So first on today's lineup is Frost Fever 2 by O'Brad, 14 plays, score -1. It's been a while since I last played a level by O'Brad. And in fact, they're in the chat as well now. Nice. Go left. Okay. Mega Man takes his icy splash. A bit of a wider jump than I expected. Excuse me? Yeah, it made me walk too many steps to the right. Okay, yeah, this first jump made me need to make it a bit easier because, yeah, it is kind of tight. Let's do this a bit more competently. I'm just gonna stay safe. I should have actually just went for it. Okay. Kind of a difficult start with how it's placed. It's been 2 years since I last played your level. Mega Man gets snow-graved. Oof. I don't like how long I have to wait here. It's a bit irksome. Okay. I have most of my health left, so I'm good. Got it. I don't have any life pickups and no checkpoint either yet, so I have to be cognizant of where damage is. Okay. And a full refill because, so we don't need to do a forced reset anyways. That's smart. That's a little bit tight. I would reorder some of the challenges a bit because that first jump at the start of the stage was, that was a little bit too tight, honestly. Again, eh? Thanks. Okay, these are totally synced with each other. But I need to be careful because if I don't make that jump, I'm dead. I thought I could make it. I didn't. They may talk about Neon Inferno, Jaden. Feel free to discuss gaming-related topics. And besides, the final episode of the single-player co-op, the single-player playthrough will be posted tomorrow anyways. This is not synced up with that, so I need to be careful. Ooh, I should have just gone for it. Even if you don't have the desire for to play it, you can still at least talk about it or discuss it. And I know running gun shooters are not for everybody. Yeep! Okay, that actually helped me. Sometimes I wish I had a better shot understanding what the ledges are. Okay. Perfect. Stand up here for safety, and now I made it. I could have made it 3 minutes earlier if I didn't botch that. Eee, that's also another tight jump. Sheesh. Crystal Man here? Oh, at least he takes double damage. Ah. Suddenly sheep, man. Anyways, we're through here. Whew. Well, at least this has 2 crash platforms, but oh, whoops. It is technically possible to slide a gas with them, but it's usually not worth the risk unless you want to style. With Neon Inferno, it's one of those games where I recall last year how I also co-opted another run and gun shooter with Joe. That was much more of a Contra-like. I think it's better than... In terms of overall presentation and flow, I think it's better. In terms of gameplay and... In terms of overall presentation, well, the overall game, I think it's better. But that one has a bit more of a curve. Why don't you say Gunstar Heroes? That wasn't exactly one of the inspirations, but I can definitely see it with the number of boss fights. Give me a moment, I want to check that actually. Because I know I have the name here. Iron Meat, yeah. When I covered Iron Meat last year, that was very inspired by Contra. This one was much more wild guns and the like. They went for different angles. Both are fun, but I think this did a overall superior job too for everything. And I'm really excited to play with Joe or Jordan sometime in the future. Oops. Nice physics strike again. The main danger of this stage isn't the enemies, it's how tight some of the slide jumps are. Hang on a moment, I see your comment, but I need to get past this crystalline demise. Oh my goodness. Let me in! Oh my gosh. Oh no, oh no. I hate the invisible ceilings like that. They just catch you off guard so easily when there's no obvious indication it's there. Okay, let's see your comment. From Waterblad64. Heard of this game coming out next year called Panic in Puzzle World. Oh, I haven't actually. Thank you for informing me about that. That sounds cool. Also, thank you for following me on Blue Sky. Really appreciate it. I'll take a look-sees after I'm done with this stage because you've piqued my curiosity. I'm always in the lookout for Mega Man-styled games. Hey, Lepadio. It always irks me when you get close to the end, only to get balked by something that's almost out of a troll level, because that wasn't exactly established. And stuff like that, where I wish the hitboxes were a little bit bigger. But of course, I played this for long enough. I should know better. What? Pfft. Excuse me, I thought my iframes lasted longer. I'll check. This jump is just getting annoying because of how things are getting desynced when they're off screen. This is one of the first times in a stage where my main worry is not dying exactly to a bottomless pit. It's getting weighed down by the crystals. Oh, of course. Yeah, I got there the first time when we get to it. That's what makes me more irked. Should have just put a wall of spikes up there instead. Or just wall it off. See, it's free here. Okay, yeah, just replace the top with an invisible ceiling. That, just getting killed there is just so rude. Okay. Any checkpoint here? Nope, not yet. I'm thinking there's gonna be some grabbers somewhere, so I'm being extra cautious. Oh no. Really? Okay. Down. Not that far down. Whew. Okay, that was a difficult stage. Not so much because of the enemies, except for the Crystal Joes at the last point, but because of some of these tight jumps. Sheesh. Ow. Bye, babe. I'm paying more attention to Fridge Man down there than I'm not paying enough attention to the ice being frozen. Alright, I'm out. The break in the ceiling actually helps me. Okay, compared to some of the previous fights in the stage, this was easier. Even easier than Crystal Man, I gotta say. Oh boy. Tricky and the checkpoint density I say is fair, but yeah, the start of the stage I would ease up a bit because starting with a 4 wide gap jump like that is I know it sets the stage for the later parts of the level, but I probably wouldn't start throwing in a deep end like that, relative deeper end. Those crash hit jumps are doable, but when they get desynced on other screens, it does get annoying, especially in the climb up the Crystal Man, through the Crystal Joe Gauntlet. And I get still irked that I got killed because of the ceiling, visible ceiling. I know I probably would have been killed by one of those other enemies coming up, but details, details. Alright. Waterbladder wanted me to check this out. Panic in the Puzzle World, or Panic in Puzzle World. 2D platform in the spirit of console classics. Play as Tide the Dragon. Breathe fire, slash with your claws, and bounce on bad guys, and glide with your wings to put a stop to the robot menace taking over the land, block by block. I can't replay the trailer on this browser because ever since the last major update on Steam, it just lags crazily on the top part. That name looks a bit familiar. Big cat. Snake. Jailbreaker Robotic Menace. That kind of looks like... to borrow Kirby, a mixture of Kirby and Zero 1 or 2. Maybe Yellow Devil? Bunny. Owl. Oh, that's a lot better. 4 Puzzle Masters, so 4 worlds plus probably 1 more. Universal Rewinds if you like. Ooh. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll check out the demo when it becomes available. And, if I forget, please bug me. What else did they make here? Mute Crimson Plus... Comet Striker DX. I've heard about this one too somewhere. It's a side-scrolling twin-stick shoe. Oh boy. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Two-player local co-op for all game modes. Bit short, but neat. Alright. Let's get back to our scene. Okay, as for this stage, it's like a 50-50 whatever. See, some of the challenges were neat, but some of the other frustrations with the desyncs are not. I'm not gonna give it a downvote, but it didn't really feel consistently fun to me, so I won't give it an upvote. Alright, to Jaden, it's gonna be very hard for them to be sold on a run-and-gun game, especially if there's no way to heal yourself. Best segue to talk about stuff they like in Mega Man games. Mega Man games are noticeably harder than most games in the market. I guess. Specifically referring to the classic ones. And yeah, the main gimmick of Ice and Crash Lives did get a bit, well, it did get revamped at the end with the enemies, but oof. Sort of access to infinite ammo and HP, but not always, and you still have to work to get those back. Like, you don't get them during boss fights. Yep, Jaden, I've actually been posting about it on the server. I posted about it in the past in the server. Like, their Zelda-like looks interesting. Anyways, on to the next stage, before we have another 20-minute discussion on something else. Once again though, thank you for following me on Blue Sky Waterblad and bringing those two games to my attention. I always appreciate it when someone brings to my attention a very small or small indie game that has been overlooked. Especially ones that could be up my alleyway. Second up is, can you really call this a Crashman remake if it has no shared gimmicks or tiles or screens? By Toxin G. 47 plays and that score, which I failed to read. Oops. I forget if this is an NSF replacement or it's a unique team. Oh. Oops. Okay, that's cool. Ah, I can't hit them that way. Using the cars or vehicles to blast upwards. Yeah, I only really recognize one tile, but other than that, it's completely different. Like, everything about the stage feels different. Like, this is clearly not a remaster. It's not a re-release. Saying it's a remake is, I guess if you really stretch the definition of remake, I suppose it is, but if you follow a Ship of Thesis, even if you use a Ship of Thesis, this is so different from the OG. This is so different from the OG one that if you just told me this is your own unique stage, that at the very least is inspired by Crashman, I'd buy it. Oh gosh. I'm dead. Or not. And if you told me that this is just a unique stage that is inspired by Crashman, I'd buy it. I'm guessing I'm taking the lower skill route because I failed that. Changing the gravity to change the challenges on the poles. And the other nice thing that Toxin is doing here is not just altering the heights of the poles, but also placing some dummy ones which are dangerous, and ones you have to switch between depending on the situation. And other ones where you have to hop between multiple ones in order to deal with enemies. Even changing the gravity sometimes, including these slowdown enemies. Oh my gosh. Oh. This is the way I was supposed to do it. And in order to make it not as punishing, they gave us some spike guards. Heck, this room has 2 routes, and I completely failed both of them. This is definitely a non-traditional stage because it's focusing so heavily on the use of the Thunderclaw. We've seen some of these gimmick combinations before, actually. Namely with the Thunderclaw pole swinging and the blocks. But I haven't seen the Thunderclaw poles be used in combination with those enemies who slow down time. Or slow down my movement specifically. I want DM. Not to mention just changing gravity on the fly. Thanks to using those enemies, it's brilliant. Is this better than Crashman's original stage? Of course it is. That's not really hard to do. GG. Oh yeah, also the exploding vehicles. Like, the only downside I'd say for the stage is that the climax is missing the exploding cars, but if I were to hazard a guess, the exploding cars are on the bottom route because this has multiple routes. Regardless of that minor fact, this is straight up so much an improvement at Crashman. And even if you put that aside, whether it's a remake or just its own OG stage, it's so well done with everything and so distinct and unique with its gimmick combinations that it immediately gets my upvote and is easily my favorite level of the episode. There's no question about that. The one not downside. See, I guess you can consider this to be a remake if you take the same. I suppose you can consider this a remake if A, you stretch the definition, and B, go back to the OG ideas behind the Crashman stage, one that's focused on explosives. I mean, this stage focuses even more on explosives than the OG Crashman, because the OG Crashman stage's gimmick was the crash lifts. Here we actually have something that explodes, so it's even more faithful to that idea. And it's also a non-traditional level because it focuses on the use of the Thunderclaw fairly well, much more better than most other stages because it tries to vary up the challenges in neat ways. Like, this could be taken even in a more crazy direction, like bumping up the difficulty and complexity of the challenges, but I understand why they left it off here because I could imagine how much more painful it could get. At the same time, I appreciate how they gave us spike guards for some of the more involved sections for the players who aren't as skilled or confident with their swinging abilities. Great use of everything overall. Like I said, the only downside I have is maybe with the climactic section, missing the exploding cars. Other than that though, I have no complaints, it's great. Hi Tyler! I'm about to cover one of your stages. I covered a switch block bunker in the past before. This is like the remake of that, to fix some problems. And I covered Hydro Garden Part 2. Do you want me to do the updated version of Switch Block Bunker, or do you want me to do something like Glacial Power Plant? Sure, go ahead Tyler. I missed a joke until I went out on a more serious note, Toxin, because outside of Crashman at the end, it may be one tile unrecognizable at Crashman, and it's better, way better. So I'm gonna wait for a moment because Tyler Bot's level's next, so... Glacial power plant, please. Okay, let's do it then. Let me just change the level IDs. 587976. Number 3 up is Glacial Power Plant Part 1 Infiltration by Tylerbot. 7 plays and a score of 1. Gonna grab that just in case. Oof, double damage. Here we go. Let's see how this fares. Oh no. Is that how we're gonna do it? Okay. I've already started actually. Did that starts them? Oh gosh. No, I don't want that. Whew. Let me guess, that resets the room. Go figure. I now get why time slow is there. Ouch. Oh golly. Okay, I can stand here and figure out what's going on. That wasn't so bad. But this is only the infiltration stage. Aha, that worked. That broke that. Let's see, gonna have to make it to the left side first. That was easy. Okay, I need to grab that key to get in the portal. Really? Excuse me, that should have blocked. I'll try bases in part 2. I know if Buster was watching, they'll also have a rant about how... And I agree that the shield should be better in this game. I said this before and I'll say it again. If Proto Man takes double damage like this, he really should have a better shield that works more consistently. And I'm happy that games like Mega Man Beyond fixed that. Like, as it stands right now, Proto Man is easily hard mode. For pretty much any stage you play as, unless it heavily requires the use of blocking or deflecting shots, in which case you can make the opposite argument. Well, at least I got a checkpoint here, so good. Ow. I just wish the Pro Shield would be active no matter, as long as you're not shooting. Or maybe put a delay, but... Hey, Grenade Man almost forgot to use his intro, so he had to do it again. Ow. Oh, the hit takes more damage. The reason why I could criticize it, the shield's okay, but it doesn't justify or make up for taking double damage. It's basically the guard break mechanic or stamina mechanic of multiple Souls-likes or action games. That's when we're saying poised, that's what it is. Heck, if you want to take it further, add it to the some of the boss fights as well. The funny thing is Mega Man's already doing something like that. Alright, we finished the first half of the stage. Ow. Oh nice, a refill. Okay. I didn't think it would grab. Again, to the maker devs, if there is an option where Proto Man took only 50% more damage, I would be a lot more happy with this. But double is a very hard bargain. Not without something else to make up for it, like what Beyond does. I should actually cover the newest demo by Beyond, because it gives me a lot to say, especially with Proto Man. Thankfully for this stage, the double damage isn't so punishing, because it's more balanced around that fact, but oh, for a lot of other stages... because Tyler realized that players would be really frustrated playing as Proto Man if it had even more excessive damage. Thank you for that, Sunflower. Will I try part 2 afterwards? After a few other stages, though. Sure, let the crazy level designers add that, Buster. 3 times damage. Whoa, I'm really surprised I grabbed that in time. Wait. Ouch. Oh, that's a solid block. I thought that's part of the background. This is oddly forgiving. Why is... Oh, that's why. Let me out, let me out! I see. Thank you. Okay, that fight wasn't that hard. 2 keys to the right. Let's do it. Yes, Proto Strike. Now, if I have access to Proto Strike in the shield, taking 2 times damage is worth it. It's fine. Like, Infinite Charge Shot is just so useful in pretty much every scenario that you need double damage to balance it, really. See, if I had access to the Proto Strike from the start, then yeah, double damage is a fair trade-off, I'd say. Because then it becomes high risk, high reward. If anything, in some scenarios, it doesn't. You get way more benefit out of it than the other way because you destroy everything before they can harm you. Why does the ground collapse when you're at below 14 health? That makes the fight harder. It should be where his health decreases below 14, the ground should break. Not mine. Okay, let me comment on that as it's kind of relevant. It's relevant to a lot of other playthroughs as well. First though, yeah, the stage was enjoyable. Thank you for balancing the stage around Proto Man, because going into this, I knew Proto Man was going to be a harder mode, and my rant is, in general, with Proto Man and it would double damage in this game. But you actually balanced around this fact, because I'll say maybe 1 or 2 screens, maybe the ones with Crystal Joes. Even then, not so much. They weren't too bad, even if it took double damage. It is harder, sure, but you are cognizant of the fact that you made it reasonable. Let's see, yeah, I commented on the Buster, but plus 50% damage, stack it with the ×2, so even more punishing. At that point, you might as well just have an instant death mode. But we sort of had that already. Jaden asks this pertinent question: Why are there so many fan developers so obsessed with not adding modern, quote-unquote, emergent gameplay mechanics that could cut down on so much frustration? And Jay Butters also raises another point of, do you mean accessibility options? And no, my nostalgia isn't an excuse. Well, there are multiple things I'm gonna have to respond to because it's complicated. It sounds both... At first glance it sounds simple, but when you dig into it, it gets complicated. Because, and it goes back to the next point by Jay Butters, also Busters too. Buster says because not everyone's a competent dev, which I agree. And Jay Butters, I agree. This is a very broad category considering there's a nearly infinite number of ways to design around older quote-unquote undesirable mechanics that could quote-unquote modernize them. Because first and foremost, not all modern mechanics would fit on every game depending on how you design it. And second, not all quote-unquote retro older mechanics are bad. It also depends on how they're used. Not to mention, what one considers to be a quote-unquote good mechanic, or mechanics they like, quote-unquote like, that varies from person to person. Mega Man does not pass through this area. Oh, okay, specially designed for Proto Man, so another thumbs up for you, Tyler. I really appreciate that many fan games nowadays, especially the Mega Man side, have options for infinite lives. And they bounce around that fact because it allows for more involved or creative level design that the classic series wouldn't allow due to the limitations of lives. I disagree on the insistence on only two checkpoints in a level. Okay, let me say it this way. I don't mind 2 checkpoints in a level if it's like most of the Mega Man Classic stages from the NES era. But if you go for lengthier stages like fan game length or later in the series, especially like in 11, I disagree with that. The number of checkpoints should be dependent on the stage length and the difficulty of the stage itself. And when I say difficulty, I'm oversimplifying because that includes stuff like how punishing the sections are, how long does it take to get through those sections, are there any difficulty spikes, optional areas, etc, etc. Like, my rule of thumb for traditional stages is to put a checkpoint every 10 to 15 screens, but that is there's still an asterisk on there depending on how it goes. I prefer to be a bit too forgiving in terms of checkpoints than too stringent. I'd like to distinguish between difficulty and punishment. Both are important in a game because you don't want to have... Both are important in how you design a game, but you have to balance the levers. Or levers. Like, a challenge can be very difficult, but not punishing at all. Like, difficulty is what skills do you need to... What skills do you require to pass the challenge? Punishment is, in my eyes, how much progress do you lose by failing a challenge? Or similar, or how much do you lose by failing a challenge or series of challenges? In the case of Mega Man, that is, what resources do you lose and how far back is the checkpoint? Like, there are games like Celeste where some of the screens are extraordinarily difficult, especially with modded levels, but I wouldn't call them rather punishing. And it also helps with things like binoculars, which Maker had. Yeah, imagine Infinite Lives in Contra. See, Contra is interesting because when you perish, you immediately respawn just at the same place. However, the punishment is, of course, you're down 1 life, and you're set back down to the pea shooter or machine gun. With those sorts of games, getting hit acts, the lives are more like HP. But if you run out of it, then you're sent back to the last checkpoint, which is or start of the stage. See, I don't mind a live system if it's again, I said I prefer in the past I prefer to be just completely optional, but nowadays I'd say that at least give more starting lives maybe by default. Winoculars. I meant to say binoculars. Stingy, yeah. Yeah, skill-based if a challenge is based off of skill or endurance, or just time, I guess. And I'm using the term challenge to be a bit broader. I just mean obstacles or areas to overcome, I suppose. Oh my gosh. I dare say that binoculars or binocular equivalents in precision platformers, especially stuff like Noctis, that should be extremely heavily encouraged, because I get having to react to stuff coming up, but at a certain time I feel like having a broader knowledge of what's coming up ahead is better. Oh, certainly, Tyler. That's what I was going back to the point of talking about, depending on the difficulty, that should modulate the number of checkpoints. I was implying that, but to make it more clear, if something has many instant death objects or similar, the checkpoint density should be higher. Should put an asterisk because the game design is a bit more flexible. Yeah, respect the player's time. This is not like in the old days where games had to justify their length because where games came out of the arcade mentality, or they wanted to artificially extend their length so players could justify the time and money spent. Nowadays there are just so many games and other media vying for one's attention that time wasters like that are ill-advised. This is why I say for many, if most of retro games, if you play them on an emulator, have save states ready. I don't mind the existence of life systems. What I do mind is if the punishment for running out of lives or the number of lives is too low. Yeah, before you, Taliban, I played a level by Toxin G. It was absolutely amazing. And then we have games like Kirby and Mario and some of the Nintendo mainliners, which have live systems which don't really do much. Okay, at the start when you have 3 or 5 lives it means something, but when you stack up to 99 lives, what's the point? Dumping the live system by that point, this makes total sense for me. But yeah, it also applied back. But yeah, some of these quote-unquote retro mechanics probably should have been readjusted or phased down further back in the past. Anyways, forward up is Mega Man and the Supernatural 4, Incubus Man and Succubus Woman, Devilish Palace, Pilot Patio, 49 play, score 28. But thank you for this side discussion on difficulty and checkpointing and mechanics. It's really relevant to a lot of games I play on the channel, especially somewhat retro-inspired ones. Let's see, last time I had was a Slash Claw and Copy Vision, I think. I want to say that's what an asterisk, Jaden. It's only stingy if you play on hard or on hard mode. It's not stingy if you play on the other difficulty settings. Like, I have to make this abundantly clear before someone gets the wrong idea. The checkpoint density in that game is only stingy, or quote-unquote stingy, if you're playing on hard mode. Because I went back and checked how it is on normal mode and the easy mode. Yeah, it's completely fine at those settings. Somehow I got this. I don't entirely agree with Jane's point because, yeah, there is some fundamental differences between devs back then and nowadays. I know I'm going to copy about the Buster's points here, but one is that in retro times, there weren't as many standards set and stuff to build upon. Devs had to figure out as they go, and not to mention they were heavily limited. They were heavily limited in terms of some things that they accomplished due to console restrictions or limited resources, either in terms of the console or PCs or time and money. Those time and money is still limited in time and money is still a limitation, but it's far less of an issue back. Not to mention that designing games, I'd say, was on average more difficult, or rather required more of an initial investment to get started. And also, importantly of all, it was way harder to figure out what players liked or disliked. It was more expensive and time-consuming to do so. Like, oh sure, we did have the internet in the late 90s, but unless you're trawling through specific Usenet forums or forums later on, which usually were smaller and more spread out, you usually had to basically get paid. You basically had to get paid focus groups and spread the word manually. And that could get pricey, or ask for advice manually, and that could get very pricey. And end up with biased results, too. As I say, hindsight's 2020. It also helped, and the internet's made gathering feedback so much smoother and easier. And making games flow better and quote-unquote easier, because a lot of the Metro games, if I recall from my growing up, they were artificially made harder or more time-consuming because of rental incentives and trying to justify the costs. And yeah, games had not just the performance limitation in terms of the console PCs, but actual very strong file size requirements, whether that be on the cartridge or later CDs. Like CDs for quite a while, the limit was about 700 megabytes, that's it. And for cartridges, sure, there are different size cartridges, but if you increase the size, that tended to make it significantly more expensive, so in that case, you would have to justify to your publishers, you have a darn good reason why you decide to go for a bigger cartridge. I know I'm rambling a bit, but... Not to mention, it was also more difficult to build things because, less technology. Less as well-established technology. I already talked about before how the engines of yesteryear were more difficult to use overall compared to the ones nowadays. Indie development has been, in this current day and age, indie development is, in this current day and age, indie game development has never been easier. At least in developing the games themselves based off of the software-wise. In terms of actually getting the funding though, that's an entirely different story. Want to polish a stage or mechanic or a sprite, etc.? Too bad, cartridge out of space. I'm not blaming you, Jaden. No cats here. Oh yeah, not to mention that if you already ship out a game and oops, you found an error, well, it's too late. Or what if you catch a serious bug in the middle of when your cartridges are being printed out, and you have to then make the tough decision of whether A, you want to stop the printing of those cartridges, or production of those cartridges, let me rephrase it. And let's say during development, when your cartridges are being produced, you discover a very serious issue that ought to be patched. Then you have to go through the difficult decision or calculus of whether you actually want to stop the production of cartridges and lose the money on those, or just go through and hope players don't notice a major issue. And not all assemblies are made the same. We can already talk about all the stupid ways that some of the consoles were artificially more difficult than they probably should have been. Or how certain things were more easily accomplished on certain consoles compared to others. Anyways, let's actually focus on the stage now. This is a very fun discussion, and as much as I like playing Maker, at a certain point, some of these levels become rather blended in with each other. Hi, Headshock. Welcome to the stream. Oh, certainly. I don't mind patches. If anything, I actually quite like the fact that we can actually patch minor and major issues throughout a game. Pretty easily nowadays, too. What I dislike more so is stuff like, the overprevalence of Day Zero patches. Not Day 1 patches, Day Zero. Can I make it past that screen this time? Let's see. The good old background trick, which confused me. So I have to wait for it to go up first, then go. Now I can make it. Third time's the charm after all, I guess. Secret up there, I suppose. Yeah, if only the indie streams had more stuff to talk about. Oh well, with the way things are going, with how the poll in the Discord is polling, I'm gonna be returning to Shovel Knight tomorrow morning. Which means we're gonna be talking quite a bit about boss fights. What levels are you referring to, Headshot? Okay, thanks. Oh shoot. I remember this from another server. It's not as punishing as I thought it would. Like, I saw this side think on the Mega Man W Discord server, maybe? I'm not sure. Not as punishing as it looked initially. Thank goodness. Oh. Okay. That's lava. Yeah, those kinds of patches, Buster. I'm not referring to the patches where, like, the devs discover an issue at the last moment and say, oh shoot, we need to fix it. Those sorts of patches, I'm okay with. Those are perfectly fine. Like, scrap happens. The bugs that irk me are stuff like... The patches that irk me are stuff like, we've well known about these issues, but we're gonna fix them post-release. Those are really annoying. Not all of them, but most of them to me. And these points are important to consider when you're designing your own game. I love double jump. Ace's best ability. So that's basic lava. Alright, let's continue through the obstacle course. I know I'm not supposed to have double jump, but it just makes these stages flow so much better. Oh shoot, this is the screen they were talking about. That's why this looked easier. I confused the previous one with this one. Oh my goodness. I can definitely see what the user was talking about here. I don't know how I first tried this. Oh my gosh. Shocked, I tell you, I'm shocked. Oh no. Okay, so this is a nasty combination. Thank you for adding a new level to the queue, Headshock. It'll be covered after Jenox's level, which should be the next one. Yeah, as much as like Maker, we've discussed pretty much everything there is to discuss about this game, or 95 to 98% of it. 95%. So when something actually novel comes about, like Toxin G's level, or to some extent, to a lesser extent, Tylerbot's level, that's when I just changed my topic to the game itself. Bullshot? Like how game marketing screenshot recorded gameplay on a hyper souped up PC. Oh my gosh, the screenshots. They're like the OG way that developers and designers, and especially marketers and advertisers, spruce up games. And then in the 2000s we moved up to souped up recordings and vertical slices. I completely misread your statement, Buster, thinking you were talking about some other bubble. Oh my gosh, anti-gravity combined with the bubble. I would like to see that. Like, there are plenty of interesting ways to use the bubble, but we don't actually see it from designers that much. Oh. Maybe from, maybe we'll see one of those from Toxin. Oh no, I got comboed. Unfortunately, this is a really nasty combo because how one can freeze me and the other shield deals a truckload of damage. Thing is, it doesn't have to be, J Butters. hang on. Give me a moment, I'm thinking of it. I just got reminded of 5 different jokes simultaneously with your... I just got reminded of 5 different jokes simultaneously, Buster. The other problem is that the freeze thing pierces through my iframes. Okay. Thank goodness he takes double damage. And I can fire above him. Okay, we're out of here. I made this stage look harder than it actually is because I kept fumbling those 2 sections. It felt like 2 sections anyway. Yeah, when I get back to Hollow Knight, I'm gonna continue my backtracking tour and defeating the dream bosses. And indie streams are unfortunately barren, even though there's a lot of discussion that could be had about the games and related games and genres. I opened the table for that. I can't will out topics. Focus. Never mind. You wouldn't understand the joke because it's cognizant on several other contexts. Also, thank you for voting for Cook Serve Forever, J Butters. Because of your vote, that may actually end up being in 2nd place. Let me check that, actually. Also, welcome to the server, Waterblad. Glad you could make it. Oh, you're also part of SGHQ. That's nice. Yeah, it is kind of a wild fight. Goodness gracious. 26 votes, yeah, Cook Serve Forever is still in 2nd place. Thank you, J Butters. Like, there's a 2-way tie between 3rd place, so I'm gonna have to flip a coin for that, or wait for another vote. But Cook Serve Forever is solidly in 2nd place, so next week I will return to that too. I mean, we're almost done. There's only 2 chapters, plus the bonus cooking school mode left. Oh shoot, J Butters. I didn't know you also knew about Connie and the Essence of Chaos. I repeat, I didn't realize you knew about Connie and the Essence of Chaos. Do you know the backstory behind that game, J Butters? I'm just curious. 5th up is Rolling City by Jock74, 163 plays and a score of 69. Bravo, J Butters, you got it. It's made by the same creators behind Rayman Redemption. That's why it looks so Rayman-pilled. Oh. Oh man, the bird bike looks goofy. Ah, darn it, I wanted that. I gotta eventually play the original Rayman and then Rayman Redemption. Although, original Rayman is gonna be a little bit tricky because of which port I'm gonna use. If I use the original PS1, oh gosh. That game's difficulty balancing is... at least something to be desired. Much to be desired. And let's not talk about the final world. No, I got the downgrade. I'm gonna have to suffer now. Unfortunately, Legends is a bit too new. Or Origins. Ow. No, no, no. Come on, Pippi, I need your healing. Thank you. And we're reaching the point where PS1 is... well, we've already passed that point. We're reaching the point where PS2 is starting to feel retro to quite a few people growing up, and we're getting PS2 style aesthetic games. PS1 style aesthetic games already started getting back into vogue in terms of retro a few years back. So, Rayman, and then by extension Connie, don't expect that. What is Mega Man reboot? Oh, I missed the other tank. What is Rayman rebooted? I mean, what is... Excuse me. I crossed my streams there. What is Mega Man rebooted? There's too many the ground is shaking too much. I do get infinite health though, so that isn't so much of a problem. No, seriously, just stand here, I'm fine. Oh my goodness, wow. I know what you're saying, J Butters. I'm just saying that, reach a point where the original OG Rayman art style is itself becoming retro-ish. Whoa. Excuse me. Oh, I just... Oops. I wouldn't use Luca as an example of an 8-bit retro aesthetic because his aesthetic is very distinct in its own right. Like, it's a scratchy hand-drawn style. I would not use 8-bit to describe it. Fate, though, I can see. Hi. Oh no, she's toasty. Hi. Someone forgot to balance the bosses a bit. That's the remake of Mega Man 1. Seventh Gen will never be retro. I mean, this is the obvious place to use it. Hi, Justin. Oh gosh. Okay. Alright, let's do it the other way. The actual intended way. And just rush past all of them. Which is actually the faster and easier way simultaneously. Oh. That's a free hit there. Wait. Oh. Well, I thought there would be no ground here, but... Okay. I guess if you run out of weapon energy, then it becomes a possible roll without ground, so... Oh, when we say Gen 7, we're kind of referring to the Oh, sorry. When we're talking about the 7th generation, we're usually referring to the consoles. If we're talking about handhelds, then... it's a different story. Like, let me check. What were the 7th gen, what was the 7th generation consisting of? Okay, according to Wikipedia... 360, PlayStation 3, Wii... I know. Buster said that the Wii has 6th generation hardware, but it was released in 7th gen, so I'm counting it. And Wikipedia counts it. Let's see, what else was here? Where's portable? Handheld systems. Okay, in the 7th gen handheld systems were the Nintendo DS and the PlayStation Portable. Gosh, the PSP. It got done dirty. But yeah, most DS... it's kind of funny saying this way because I'm... knowing my age. But... yeah, people are already... the DS is reaching the point where people are considering... people growing up are now considering it to be retro. Normally I criticize that, but then I realized, wait a sec. The DS was released initially in North America in 2004. It was actually released in North America before Japan, which is kind of funny. Like, November 21st, 2004, which is 21 years ago. Because of the sliding scale of time, at the back of my mind I think, oh, it's like 10 or 12 years ago, but no, it's over 20 years ago. It clearly qualifies, and by that mind of it being over 20 years old, I can't blame people for considering it to be retro. Like, I'm starting to see... I know it's not as common as the console-inspired eras, but I'm starting to see more games inspired by the art style or limitations set by the Game Boy Advance, as well as the Nintendo DS. But if you want one example you recognize, Jaden, Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. That is heavily inspired based on the GBA era. Of course, what is considered to be retro is a bit more flexible, but I'd say 20 years is a fair enough cutoff. Over 20 years. And then of course, this whole discussion is only really talking about consoles and handhelds. We're completely neglecting the PC, which has its own eras as well. But of course, the boundaries between eras and the PC are, especially as time goes by, far less well defined. Like, with the consoles and handhelds, you have more distinct breaking points because of the entirely new pieces of hardware. With PC though, considering how there's infinite many magnitudes more of different hardware configurations and in-betweens, so to speak, trying to define the end and start of another era, the end of one era and the start of another one, that is difficult, really difficult. It blends in. Oh yeah, Tiger Electronics. It's funny because one of the indie games I played last year did reference that. Like, we can have a whole discussion about, for example, the different mini eras. Oh yeah, let's not even count. We're not even counting the mini eras or mobile gaming later on in an entirely separate platform, or web gaming too. Like, we could talk about the mini eras of DOS and then Windows. Or post-DOS, I guess. Yeah, when do we get games with 2 screens? Oh, that's cool. I heard about the bosses, but levels? That's neat. Make sure to showcase it in next year's Sage, though. Okay, as for this stage, it was okay. Okay, give me a moment, I need to sip some water and I'll be back for this level. Okay, back. Let's do this. I know I've been waiting. 6th stop is Castle Omega 2 by Para0. 15 plays and a score of 5. Thank you, Headshock. Yes. Did I cover the original Castle Omega? Beats me. Okay, that's wonderful. You're getting support from the other members of the dev team. Declines drops, the game I'm referring to, Buster. That did directly reference the Game & Watch for one of the mini games, and I think it also referenced the Tiger Electronics. I wonder. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Shotman, you saved me. Why didn't it respawn? You barely spent any time on those. Asterisk. friend inside me. Does this level start halfway through? I think it's because this is 2 and they just split the level in 2, maybe? Thank you, Oren. I will. Well, the stream's gonna be done in about half an hour, so... if I have time, I'll cover your stage last. After Oren's. Maybe? I get splitting stages into 2, but if in that case, and I want to make a note, if that's actually the case, you may want to say part 2, or part 1, part 2 of 2. I love the buff Bubblehead. Oh yeah, to clarify something, for tomorrow morning stream, it may get delayed by a few hours, but it will happen. I don't know. We'll need to ask Parazero about this. Or Headshock. I think. Oh, pfft. If only this was stronger. Oh yeah, if you want an example of a demo which I may want to cover sometime in the future for just how wacky it is. Mega Man Next Remix. Like, oh my goodness, my demo showcase of Mega Man and Bass Queen's Gambit was one of the most successful videos I posted on this channel this month, this and last month. It's crazy. And to a lesser extent, Badlands Crossover, like, Badlands Crossover got over 250 views. I don't know why people wanted to see that. Okay. Oh yeah, level linking, that would be really nice. That would fix my problem with... like, one of my issues with how the level structure, how levels are split into different chunks in Maker is that the way you have to carry over stuff is cognizant of the player having to do it and remembering what they had before. Which is fine, I guess, but it's not as smooth as just straight up having level linking. And we sort of have some things carry over. We see that's possible in Wily Challenge. We could theoretically do the same thing here. Yes, Fortnite Jonesy or Fortnite Hope. Or heck, just add Peely. What even is your weakness? Ah, this thing. I need to play the Metroid Prime games. it's on my 800 plus game list backlog thingy. Honestly, that may be a nerf sylph. In that case, level linking should only be available if the designers want it. Oh gosh. Help. Let me down. Let me up, I mean. Uh-oh. At this rate, Fortnite will probably show more love to Mega Man than Capcom has recently, unless they count re-releases. Oh, you're back up, thanks. Bubble. This is, I guess. I don't know, didn't really leave much impression on me. Right, wait a minute. 7th up is Mega Man Advance 5 Level 1 Steam Castle by Orange Mio. Wage replays in a score 20. Or Oran Gemio. Gemio? I think the hatred is overstated, J Butters, because looking at some of the cutscenes, they just really remind me of, they just remind me of Adam from Fusion. Okay, maybe there are a few annoying bits, but overall, nah. Okay, that's one way of introducing that. Ow. Got crushed. Off of nothing. Oh, a memorizer? That would be sick. That would go way farther than what I was asking for, actually. Welp. I mean, they did more with Cross Worlds, so, yeah. Hot plates can harm enemies. I forgot how weak they are, actually. Ooh, boy. Let me... wait, something's there. Let me in. No fists for me. I thought that chain was grabbable. Okay, I need to speed this up. Well, this is going rather swimmingly. Oh, cool. Perfect point. Air horn soundboard. Oof. Here, take that. Ah, I got sniped by the cannon. Here, you can take that. Revenge. If only I had something else. Okay, I need to speed this up as they will eventually ignite. Is that? Oh my goodness. Thank you. I thought I was gonna be sniped by the cannon again. Based on the title, I thought this is going to be a lot less... Based on the stage title, I thought this was going to be more of a lower effort stage, or one that was maybe not low effort, but far less polished. But instead, this is more involved than I expected it to be. Like, okay, it is combat and polished, but it actually has challenges I do have to engage with. Which is not what I was expecting. Would be nice to have a special weapon or two. I think the stage is okay or decent, but it's noticeably better than the previous stage, I'd say. Heck, I like it more than Jellhawk's level, as it has more notable challenges, I'd say. I'm just making it look harder because I'm screwing up. Oh, would you look at that? That's something novel, in fact. The stage is actually doing things with its gimmick combinations. Shocking, isn't it? I know this is a bit cluttered for a climax, and I do wish it went on for twice as long. Maybe decompress it a bit. But it's fine. Oh, cool! You even include the gimmicks, the main gimmick of the stage in a fun way. Although this kind of makes Fireman into a joke due to how it works. Like, he can never hit me if I stand up here. Only if I fumble it. Alright, and by feeding him, I get the Flame Storm, or Firestorm. Give me showing his, lining up capabilities. Okay, color me impressed. I thought this was going to be far less impressive than it is actually. Not really, it's not the most polished, sure, but for what it's showcasing for what its gimmick usage is, it does a better job than the two previous levels. Yeah, if the level was more polished up and refined, I'd straight up say it's good. Like, it actually tries using its gimmicks in neat ways. If you iterated more upon the crash with the Smartman platform section at the end, thumbs up. And I understand you wanted to include the main gimmick of the stage, or one of the main gimmicks of the stage, into the boss fight, but that boss arena favors the player so much it's funny. There is... It would work better for a different boss, I'd say. Like, if it was Flame Man, I think it would work better. Or any boss who could fire upwards, arcing, or jump. Okay, I do want to end with part 2, as I promised Tyler Bot. Hey, compared to the last few weeks, the level selection this week has been pretty decent. We already have 2 bangers. We have 1 solid banger, a 1 pretty fun level, and this one is also unrefined but still pretty enjoyable. So before I do this, give me a moment. I need to make sure this is ready. Okay. Alrighty then, so the 8th and final level of this stream is... Wait, hang on. Wait. I need to make it one note. Like, I should copy down the level name of that previous one. And this one, for that matter, because this could be the honorable mention. Alright, we're ready. So the 8th and final level of the stream is Glacial Power Plant Part 2 Total Meltdown by TylerBot, 5-play score of 1. So the best level last week was TylerBot stage. That was actually pretty fun. That was Hydro Garden Part 2. Rest were kind of... Okay, Rocket Wall 1 was also fairly fun. And Bezo 9, I suppose, but the rest just blended in each other. But yeah, TylerBot was a victor last week, if you want to say in terms of favorite levels. Ooh, that's a longer loading time. Of course I'm grabbing these just in case. Wait, did I pick the right level? Each character has their own route, and they did say that base has the most interesting ones, so I'll pick base. And I'd rather have the flamethrower over Astro Crush anyways. That's something else I appreciate about this stage. Or the series of levels by TylerBot. They actually went through the effort of giving each character somewhat separate routes that that make specific use of their different abilities. Or in the case of last stage with Proto Man, actually takes into consideration him taking double damage from everything. Frowny face. Like most designers would just have a character selector and just move on that way. But you, TylerBot, you actually went a step further and just made distinct sections. That jump is going to be a bit tricky. Like, I don't have a double jump, and, well, you know what I'm gonna say. Yes. No! I thought I was gonna jump. I failed. All reliable indeed. Okay, I can stand here. But I need to be quick. It botched. It moved up a bit, so I couldn't get back on. I was gonna say it botched itself, but that's not quite it. If only had double jump. That's the problem. I want to be able to aim diagonally, but I can't. Like, the timing on this does not favor me at all. Astro Crush would have helped here, but I decided to take the more dedicated attack weapon. Once again, my favorite aspect of Base's arsenal is not his dash, it's the double jump. Okay, that worked. It's a matter of timing it. That's the Slash Claw route. I'm out of here. Oh my gosh. I didn't die, thankfully, but getting pulled down. Three hits. Fumbled that. Alright, chasers. Alright, chasers, in fact. See the video for context. Viral Nightmare, the fan game, is looking really interesting. Okay, we're good. Go from the left. Why are you going? To grab the weapon pickup? Anyways, it's done. Sheesh. This stage must be big enough to the point where it causes a lag like this. Oof. Let me get it. Let's see, I want that on the right side. Yeah, I need that right one. I need one more tile higher. Thank you for slipping off the platform. Well, I got it done. Okay, go to the right. Jump to the left. Jump here. I had plenty of room. Now the opposite problem. Keep bouncing there, Kurlinger. Oh no. Astro Crush would have actually worked better here, but... Whew. This is an example of a stage which may be difficult in a few spots, but it's not really punishing because of how the teleporters and checkpoints work. It's one of the less punishing stages of this episode, period. Hi, Barret. Ooh, I can't do anything right now. Why, I can. It harms them. Zill's weakness. Easy. Oh, I was dragged in. Oh, in the first section. Whoa, that was close. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that was scary. I'm gonna wait this out a bit. I missed. Practice indeed. It's a notable increase in difficulty compared to part 1, which went by relatively smoothly. And I can imagine how different the parts for Mega Man and Proto Man are. It would really help if I had a weapon that could be aimed further. Ah, I thought I could get past further, but I got snapped. I wish there was a way you could disable base's dash, so instead more designers would give a 50-50 between the dash and double jump. Cool, I can do it in one go. I didn't even notice the ladder at first because it blends in with the background so well. Probably deliberately. Huh? I thought they were supposed to be active, so I idly was looking at chat and then did it here. Oh, pfft. I was looking at the top part of the screen and I didn't realize, wait, that's not solid ground, or that's not a wall. So I'm trying to scan the stage from top to bottom, so when I was looking there trying to parse everything, I was more worried about the Crystal Joe. Okay. Now I know what to do. That's that. Go here. Ah, we're out. The one annoying thing about this is because of how it fires, you can end up shooting it twice. Left. Oh, Krabby, I can do this. Now if we could just move the water level down again. Thank you. Now imagine doing this as Proto Man. Oh my goodness. And we're out of here. That is one thing that I do wish was made a bit more distinct. Maybe use darker greens for the background. I'm seeing your messages, Tyler, about the first section. Yeah, I realized I did it the unintended way, but it did work. Yeah, I was worried if you stand between the two falls, it would just take me down, instead of being solid. Because from my perspective, if the two waterfalls are there, yeah. Or something like that. Yeah, I didn't realize there was a platform there between the two falls. I thought it was solid. Something. I think. So this stream normally starts at about 10:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. At least for now. We may change a few things. Quick Man, okay. How do I expect it to be here, to be honest? Yeah, greener than Green Grove and Green Hill and all the green whatevers. Sunstar was more orange and yellow. The one downside of the stage, other than sometimes the lack of clarity or conveyance, is the amount of time you have to wait before the stage reloads itself. And mind you, my computer is fairly beefy. For someone playing this on a less beefy computer, the loading times are going to be far worse. So, take that into consideration. Oof, that could have been bad. Nonetheless, it was a more stimulating and advanced stage compared to the Infiltration. This is supposed to be a glacial power plant, but it felt more like a hydro garden power plant or whatever. There are two other routes I think I could have taken, but they do share some things, plus I'm running low on time, so this is where I'll call it. Yeah, the first section of the stage needs a bit more clarity. Maybe change up the tiles so it's a bit easier to distinguish what's solid and what isn't. Or what's part of the foreground and what's part of the background. In any case, overall, of the 8 levels I covered in today's stream, my favorite one would be, obviously, can you really call this a Crashman remake if it has no shared gimmicks or tiles or screens by Toxin G? With an honorable mention going to Mega Man Advance 5 Level 1 Steam Castle by Oren Gemio. I don't know, for all the roughness it is, it did have its own unique things, so cool. And thank you to everyone else who submitted your levels to me, it's really appreciated. Now before I do the art showcase, I know Jay Butters did it, I do want to showcase the announcement trailer because I wasn't able to show it on the Steam page. It was breaking up. Panic in the Puzzle World, the announcement trailer. That's the Mega Man-like game starring the dragon. See, when I first saw this, I thought, is this by the same artist or by a similar dev to Get a Cake? Lenny! Hi. Oh, that's Jailbreaker. Yeah. Okay, that's one way to open the boss door. Back missiles. Drawback of being three completely different levels. Okay, Tyler, I'll come back next week and do the other levels. Or the other mini levels. It doesn't look so much like a puzzle game, it looks more like action-adventure or Mega Man-like. Okay, I'll wishlist it. Iced Blizzard Games. Yeah, the slime boss of Yoshi's Island if it was packing heat. And I know you want to show this. I would like to actually showcase it to those who are not really aware before I do show the art here. Connie and the Essence of Chaos. I know this is not the art showcase yet, but I really want to showcase it because this looks peak. Peam. Nope, not games I'm making. This games I want from other indie devs I want to showcase. Kickoff Coast. Beans. Flowerfield Forest. The Bitter Temple. Nah, just for two trailers. The main reason why Reacts died is because we ended up at people saying just Takeout Street to sup. The main reason Reacts died is because we ended up with basically only a few users ending up sending out videos that only really interested them and ended up basically posting so much it crowded out the other things and versus Bunty. And frankly, it didn't have stuff that interested me. At least with memes, because of the stricter time limits, people were more original with those things. But Reacts ended up being basically a series of videos which only appeal to very small. Have a good day, Tyler. Hey, if enough people are interested, I'll be happy to showcase this too. The actual demo. Anyways, time for the art showcase. I don't get it. Ben finding Eon, now Divinity. I am not gonna show that. Spoiler. Where the roots should grow. Oh. So about 24 turns. Maybe less. You found her. Creepy. You can skip after 90 seconds. Night of the Wind. Feel the wind rush past your face, there's a knot too big. Yeah, that design is really cool, but ooh. This variant of The Night of the Wind is a little bit... Well, yeah, he's seen a lot of things. Experienced a lot of adventures. It's happy hour! Happy anniversary to Anton Blast! What's the difference between these two screens? Regardless, happy anniversary, and yes, I will return to this for the update. And thus, this concludes the art showcase and subsequently the stream. Thank you to everyone who either submitted their levels, their art, or simply participated in chat. It's thanks to your continued support why I continue to produce new content for the channel. It's really appreciated. So, if you're enjoying this or any other video or stream on the channels, please rate, comment, favorite, and or subscribe, as they all help them out. Don't forget to follow me on Blue Sky and Mastodon as well, and join my Discord server, as I regularly post updates there. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in a few hours for Lunar Crystal's level pack. See ya!